Chapter 4: The Sentient Interface. Monday, 12:05 p.m. The remnants of the previous week's frantic energy still clung to the air. Richard was already at the table, scrolling through his feed with a furrowed brow. Rohit joined him, carrying a sense of quiet satisfaction. "We finally got the NutriCoach beta numbers from the weekend," Rohit began, setting his lunch down. "Adoption is better than we projected. The unified payment system Richard and I cobbled together is holding up. It's a good foundation." "A good foundation for what?" Richard asked, looking up. "Building the next feature that makes us obsolete. I saw the new spec Nova is proposing for NutriCoach. Hyper-personalization. It wants to create a unique interface for every single user. It sounds like a privacy nightmare waiting to happen." Sarah slid into her seat, having caught the tail end of Richard's comment. "Oh, let me guess. Nova wants to read our users' minds to suggest what they want for dinner. It's not enough that it's taken over our jobs. Now it wants to play God with our users' lives. The ethical review board will have a field day with this." Rohit smiled calmly. "It's not about reading minds, Sarah. It's about being attentive. Think of it like a good waiter who remembers your favorite wine. If a user like Priya always looks for South Indian recipes, her dashboard should feature that. If another user is training for a marathon, their interface should highlight performance meals and hydration. It's about creating a sentient interface, one that adapts." "That's a dangerously thin line, Rohit," Sarah countered. "A sentient interface is one step away from a creepy surveillance tool. Where does Nova propose we get this data? I bet it involves third-party data brokers and a consent form so long no one will ever read it. We've been down this road before." Hong, who had been meticulously separating the vegetables in his dish, finally spoke. "The value of the data is proportional to its proximity to the user's stated goal. Historical engagement within the app is the most valuable and ethically sound. What features do they use? What recipes do they save? This is explicit user intent. Therefore, third-party data is a high-risk, low-reward variable that introduces unnecessary noise." "Exactly," Richard jumped in, seizing on Hung's point. "But the spec also mentioned integrating with smart glasses, AR overlays for recipes, voice commands in the kitchen. That's the stuff that excites me. Forget the creepy personalization. The real win is a hands-free kitchen assistant. That's a tangible product, not some abstract sentient experience." "But the two are connected, Richard," Rohit argued gently. "The hands-free assistant is only useful if it understands you. If you say, 'What should I make for dinner?' it needs context. It needs to know your preferences, what's in your fridge, how much time you have. That's the personalization. The voice command is just the input method. It's like that movie Her, where the AI understands the user so well it becomes an indispensable partner. I'm more worried about it becoming like HAL 9000 from 2001: A Space Odyssey," Sarah retorted. "I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't let you eat that donut. User control has to be absolute. They need a dashboard where they can see exactly what data we're using and turn it off with a single click. We have to build the off-ramp before we even build the highway." "So we're the architects of the off-ramp now," Richard mused, a cynical smile playing on his lips. "Nova gets to design the futuristic superhighway, and our job is to build the emergency exits. It feels like we're just the safety inspectors for the AI's grand vision." "For now, maybe," Rohit said, his gaze distant but focused. "But Nova can't understand the difference between helpful and creepy. It can't feel the unease a user feels when an app knows too much. It gives us the most logical, efficient path. It's our job to ask if it's the right one. We are the conscience of the algorithm." The words hung in the air. They were no longer just building features. They were defining the boundaries of a new relationship between humans and the machines they had created. And in that space, filled with ethical minefields and exhilarating possibilities, they were finding their new, indispensable role.